Hello, YouTube. This is going to be a video on a few different things. It's primarily going to be on Tulsi Gabbard joining the calls for impeachment against Trump. Tulsi Gabbard joined the calls for impeachment against Trump, and this is going to be a video about that and why I disagree with that and why I'm honestly. And I understand no one probably cares one way or the other, but me personally, I'm a bit disappointed in her. I still like her, but I'm a little bit disappointed in that decision on her part and a few lesser issues. But first of all, I just want to say that to me, the decision to impeach Trump is, first of all, strictly political. It's politicking at its worst. It's an undermining of our democracy. The guy obviously has done nothing illegal. This is like their third or fourth attempt at trying to impeach the guy. Every time they fail after wasting, in some cases, trillions of U.S. tax dollars. Because they literally spent like $1 trillion or over $1 trillion, I think it was, trying to prove imaginary Russians colluded with him to win the election, and that never happened. And now, after reading the transcript of the latest attempt at impeaching him, that even Nancy Pelosi read, and from what I understand, pretty much backed off of, and that was the transcript about the Ukrainian phone call involving Joe Biden and his son. And again, I'm not saying Joe Biden and his son necessarily did anything wrong. I don't know all the details. I'm not saying they should go to jail. And I've said before, I even kind of like Joe Biden. But the point is, anyone that read that transcript, from what I know of it, can't prove anything Trump did wrong. And they can't prove he did anything wrong or anything that he did that might have been wrong. And not only that, if anything, it proves the Democrat Joe Biden did something wrong. Him and his son. It certainly doesn't prove Trump did. So to me, this is reeks of corruption and or incompetence or stupidity rather. And I do not think Tulsi Gabbard is stupid. Okay, we are not dealing with an incompetent person. I don't believe that for a second. I honestly think she's a bit more book smarts as to where I think some people are more street smarts, and I honestly have a little bit more respect for street smarts. I'm not really sure what I am, if I'm either, but I do know this damn much. To me, it reeks of either stupidity or corruption or both. And I believe corruption, and I have to go with corruption. So this tells me that Tulsi Gabbard is a corrupt person. And I like her still, so I don't want to say too much. And I've been trying to figure out how to make this video what to say. And as always, I just figure I'll speak from the heart about as well as I can. But Tulsi is not stupid, though. I have to argue that this really seems like a bit of both. It seems like a little bit of stupidity in it and corruption. But like I said, I don't think Tulsi Gabbard is stupid, but she would have to be corrupt, because if not stupid and if not corrupt, then what the hell is this? You're reading a transcript that pretty much proves his innocence, that he voluntarily gave over, that even Nancy Pelosi didn't think was corrupt enough to go forth in an investigation with, and she backed off. But yet you're trying to say that that proves him to be a criminal or having done something illegal and deserving of being impeached. I'm not seeing that. And that to me is unforgivable, because that is a direct attack on our democracy. The same thing you accuse Trump of. Not like you care about democracy anyways, or need we forget Hillary Clinton, the career politician, perhaps the queen of the politicians, who tried to screw and did screw Bernie Sanders out of the friggin' primary. And had he won, you might not be dealing with Trump now, because he could probably have beaten Trump in a general election. And again, this is not about Trump. This goes far and beyond, above and beyond Trump. This is about the integrity of not only the Democratic Party, but of the nation and of our democracy, and the sacredness of democracy, the Democratic Party, the democratic system that the founding fathers laid out, that we all each get one vote, one man each, and we get to decide who our elected leaders are. And they are outright going against what the founding fathers wanted, that we have a right to in the Bill of Rights, in the Constitution, and against the democratic system. They are outright fighting against that. And Tulsi Gabbard is now complicit in that. She is now involved in that. And what respect I had from her, I would be lying if I didn't say a lot of that has now went out the window. This is bullshit. You don't have to like Trump. Me, you can hate Trump, you can like Trump. And me personally, I'm still trying to decide what to think of the man, because I do not know. And he is one of the few things or few issues of our time that at this point I still don't know what to think about. But regardless of all that, regardless of whether you like the man or you don't like the man, you love him or you hate him, regardless of that bullshit, this is an attack. This goes far and beyond one single orange guy. This is a fucking constitution. This is democracy. This is the integrity and the survival of our democratic system that the Democratic Party, ironically, is attacking directly. And this is on par with more ridiculousness and more hypocrisy than anything I have ever seen. And while the majority of them are Democrats, this is almost as bad and maybe even worse than the social justice warriors or social justice movement. Because just like the social justice movement, they are the equivalent of what the Ministry of Truth was in the novel 1984. George Orwell couldn't have predicted this level of bullshit. And it's obvious the damn man has done nothing illegal and done nothing wrong. And they're continuing with an impeachment, and it's not even a smart corruption. And it would be bad enough if they were intelligent crooks. They're not even smart crooks. And then when you take someone like me, who has largely aligned myself with the Democratic Party, who continually warns them against shit like this and wants them to do one thing, and then no matter what you're talking about, they always seem to do the other thing. To me, this is embarrassing, and it's fucking incredibly disappointing for me as a damn liberal Democrat. This is incompetence. This is corruption and incompetence, and it's every damn thing wrong with the damn country. And now Tulsi Gabbard is engaged in that. And I like her, I hope for the best, but I'm not sure I'll be voting for her. More bullshit. She's damn near like the rest of them. Now, I don't know what that means. Maybe you would say it's misogyny, oh, you don't like her either. Maybe that's your bullshit you'll pull out of your ass. Maybe that's the next rabbit you'll pull out of your ass. I don't know. But this is outright indirect corruption and incompetence. What the fuck else would you call this? When you have a fucking transcript that obviously shows a Democrat to have been involved in corruption, and you're fucking blaming the Republican guy who was more or less calling out that corruption for being corrupt. And that's proof, no matter what happened and no matter what the issue is, you will take that as a chance to impeach him, and you will impeach him no matter what. All right, let's see what else there is to talk about here. Okay, the government, our great democratic government that's trying to override your votes and impeach a sitting president with an approval rating of over 50% or half the country. That same great democratic government has added over $500 billion in about a month or something like that. Let me check how long it was. Maybe I said so. In just 1 month, yeah, that's right. In just 1 month, they added $1 trillion to the national debt. And it would be one. And while it would be one thing, and I might even support doing that if it was going to combat climate change, if it was going to help the environment, I might support that. If it was going to fund and support things like LGBTQ rights and helping the LGBTQ community, if it was in some way, if it was going to help feed the hungry in third world countries, if it was going to help the homeless population in this country, if it was going to build a fucking road or do something of some value, I might support that. You know, and I know the only damn thing this goes to support is testing bear DNA. Damn. 1 minute, if it works. All right, you know and I know the only damn thing this is going to go to support is testing bear DNA. Testing the DNA of gay frogs or whatever that was, I forget. Testing frog DNA. Fucking trying to commit a mosquito genocide or a genocide against mosquitoes. Spending $1 million on trying to mutilate the genitals of Swaziman or Africans, circumcised Africa, pretty much. At the same time, we're complaining about female genital mutilation. That makes sense. Not at all hypocritical. No cultural and or gender bias there, I'm sure. And it's going to go to that bullshit, along with your fucking endless damn wars and bombing more fucking children in these other countries. And it's not going to do anyone a damn bit of good. And that's $500 billion in debt that a country that is already fucking ass deep in debt now has added on to their shit. We now have even more fucking debt. And you're telling me we don't need a major change up and these political bureaucratic fucking cracks can't get this shit done? We don't need someone new? And while, as I have pointed out before, the Republicans can be and are just as hypocritical, if not more than anyone, you have to think a lot of this is from those supposed tax and spend liberals, the Democratic Party. You know they had a lot to do and they're handing that shit in terms of raising taxes and now spending or adding $500 billion to the national debt. Congratulations. No, we don't need new blood in the Democratic Party. We don't need new leadership. Let's continue to vote for these fucking buzzards until they goddamn destroy the entire nation. Yeah, they're great. And again, that is the difference between someone like me or anyone, by the way, that has done anything good, whether it be MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., or even someone that was a president like John F. Kennedy, or anyone else. They are from the political world, or those people are from the philosophical world, and they. Fuck me. They are from the philosophical world and the sociological world, and they look at and evaluate problems. And this is a lot of what I talked about yesterday. These fucking people on the other end do not. They are from the political world, and they are bureaucratic and bureaucrats. And what they do is they're balls deep in the fucking government and in the establishment. They have been in there for years, and all they care about is keeping their spot and keeping their job, and to hell with it fucking with letting everything hit the fan. They don't give a fuck what happens. They don't care if you fucking eat. They don't care if you get help. They don't care if your fucking street children are dying in a damn war. They don't care about men. They don't care about women. They don't care about a damn thing. Look at what has happened in Alabama under these people, with now women being prosecuted for first-term abortions, including in cases of rape and incest. They're now being fucking prosecuted for killing a fucking fetus in the first month of the first 4 months of a pregnancy. Oh wow, they really cared about women, didn't they? This is bull. Ugh. You know what? If you're gonna prosecute someone, I suggest you start prosecuting, and by the way, while you're at it, is prostitute these fuckers too. I'm talking about the damn spam artists, the people that keep fucking making pop-ups. I'm tired of this. Every fucking 5 minutes is a damn pop-up. Fucking viruses. God, I'm sick of this. All right, here's a funny one. Joe Biden, he gave a speech, and there was some dude, because who better to speak on female victims of rape than a random dude in a crowd that was holding up a sign saying "Me Too" and shouting "rapist" at the fucking Joe Biden, and the rest of the crowd finally took interest into their own hands, because even the fucking Democrats are getting sick of this shit, and they literally joined around the guy, literally chanting him down and pretty much chanting Biden. And again, Biden, by the way, is saying all the while, no, let him go. And even when the cops are trying to arrest him, they're saying let him go. At the same time, this guy is trying to put him in jail. Does that sound logical? And keep in mind you, Biden is a lot of things. A rapist, he's not. Maybe creepy, but he's not a rapist, I don't think. And it kind of reminds me of like an old Scooby-Doo cartoon, or it's a parody of Scooby-Doo I saw once. And I'm not sure if it was Robot Chicken or what the fuck it was. I think this came out before Robot Chicken. But I remember watching it when I was a kid. I probably wasn't even 12. And it was funny. And for some reason, I thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. Where you got Shaggy and Scooby, or Scooby and Shaggy, smoking weed in their van, the mystery machine. They were smoking the weed. And the cops pull them over looking for a murderer. And they think they're looking for them, and they think they want to search their car for weed. So they freak out, right? And they take off. And then in the courtroom, when they're investigating them for murder, or they're holding the trial for murder, I think it was Velma that said, no, you don't understand. They're not murderers. They're just idiots. And I don't know why. I just found that to be hilarious. It's the same thing with Biden. You don't understand. He's not a murderer, or he's not a rapist. He's just an idiot. Same thing. But no, even the fucking Democrats are finally getting sick of this. Enough of this shit. This is your fucking feminists. This is what the Democratic Party thinks is so important that they need to side with and align themselves with, and all it's doing is pushing around male votes. It's not doing a damn thing to get women to vote, and that's why I think it was the majority of women, and perhaps it might have been more women than men, voted for Trump the last damn time around in the last election over Hillary, the fucking female, the big feminist. Goddamn it, and Trump got more women votes. And like I said, they lost with every single demographic, because this identity politics bullshit doesn't work, and it's immoral, and it's intellectually, it's dishonest, and it's fucking intellectually and morally lazy. It's incompetent, dishonest, and lazy. It's morally and intellectually lazy, morally and intellectually dishonest, and morally and intellectually, did I say, the point is, it's bullshit. And again, the one group they didn't bother to vote for was Asians, and that is the only group the fucking Democrats carried. Like I said, it's not working. Enough of this. Focus on individuals. So start focusing on individuals. If you want to focus on any group, focus on economic class and the amount of poor people working for fucking cheap change in this fucking country, regardless of who they are. Focus on poor people. Help the poor. Help individuals. Help LGBTQ people. Help people that are being socially ousted as social outcasts and the disenchanted of society. Help the poor. Help those people. Help the homeless. Stop making every damn thing about race and gender, because it's not, and that shouldn't be important in the year 2019. We shouldn't care what race or gender someone is, one way or the other. And finally, and I'm not going to defend Islam here because I have a lot of issues with them, the same as I do Judaism and Christianity. I don't like either Abrahamic religion. But what I will say is, I think it was about 72% or over 70% of Australians say that they they do not think Islam is compatible with Western civilization or the rest. And now, granted, they have had a decline in circumcision, or they have had an uptick in circumcision as to where we have a decline. They still do it less than we do. So this might not work as well with them, but how many Americans, for example, would say that? I'm sure it's plenty of them. But at the same time, you would say female circumcision that some Muslims do is inconsistent with our society, but you have no problem with male genital mutilation of infants or children. What's the difference? And it's the same thing with Christianity. If you look back at the Middle Ages and Dark Ages, they killed a lot of people. You had the Inquisition, the targeting of Jews, the targeting of Muslims, the Crusades, mass murder, mass genocide, the killing of the gays, the killing of pagans. St. Patrick, as we know, was a murderer. He represented the conquest of Ireland by the Christian Church. They drove many of the Celts out of England. They overtook Ireland. They killed out the Druid priest class. They killed out very many pagan priestesses. You had the witch hunts. Mass killing of people. Mass killing of people. They trapped Galileo in his room for revealing that the earth was round. Wow, big shocker right there. They didn't even want people to know that because it went contrary to their doctrine. Christianity can be just as fucking negative as anything else. And I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to get back to the point here, but the point is Islam is no worse than any other religion, but they didn't have an Enlightenment era. And with an Enlightenment era, they can fucking manage to be assimilated into and fit into Western civilization, the same as Christians and Jews can. The same thing. They just need the Enlightenment, and they never had one because they're too busy going through a dark age, in part because of us bombing them. Again, not their fault. That's our fault. So let me move on. And I want to cover this before it's over. Let me just tell you what this one was. Antifa, before I close out this video because I'm running out of time. Antifa held supposedly a counter protest to some Christian having a patriot prayer or some bullshit. And they were having a satanic ritual in contrast to them. And I don't know if any or how many or if any of these people are actual saints, but I thought that was pretty cool. And I don't like Antifa. And who knows? Maybe if I watch the video, because I haven't seen the footage, maybe I would be like, you know what? You should give these people more space. You know what? You're invading them. If they're, I might even say that. I don't know. But from what I know, I thought it was hilarious that. Because, I mean, again, they were doing this in favor of transgender people. I'm guessing some of these were transgender people. And they were protesting Christian conservatives, who we all know are anti-gay. A lot of them are anti-LGBTQ. They're anti-gay, anti-gay rights. They're anti-transgender people. And I just thought it was great that someone's finally standing up to them. So I wanted to talk about that, and that's about all. But yeah, it's a dark day for the Democratic Party and probably for the nation. And I like Tulsi Gabbard. I was hoping her the best, but, you know, whatever. P666.